CCL. I'm Flannery Winchester, your Senior Director of Communications, coming to you today with an update about what's going on in Congress with permitting reform and what you can do to help. As you know, permitting reform is one of CCL's 4 major policy areas that we're working on, and we're working on it because America needs to build and connect a whole lot of clean energy fast, but slow permitting processes are causing a bottleneck. Basically, the clean energy revolution is ready. We just need to cut some red tape. So here's what's going on. For the last few weeks, there have been rumblings on Capitol Hill around permitting, with signals of more to come. At the end of February, E&E News reported that House Republicans were working on multiple bills that would ultimately be part of a sweeping energy and permitting reform package that would come to the floor at the end of March. There have already been a few hearings in different House committees to start to explore those initial bills. The Biden administration has been talking about this too. At an event earlier this month, White House Energy Advisor John Podesta said permitting reform was high on the administration's agenda. He said that the permitting process for clean energy infrastructure is, quote, plagued by delays and bottlenecks. And he said there's plenty that we can do and must do federally. And again, what we can do is update those permitting processes in a way that preserves community input while letting us build and connect a lot of clean energy fast. So the latest is that on Wednesday of last week, House Republicans dropped their big energy and permitting reform package, which they're calling the Lower Energy Costs Act. They gave it bill number HR 1, and Speaker of the House, California Republican Kevin McCarthy, said in a video, "We can streamline permitting and still protect the environment. That's a goal worthy of the number 1." So that's great to see and to hear. Now, as with any major policy, the first version is not what's going to get across the finish line. Our legislative team and others in DC are thinking of this package as just the opening bid in the permitting discussion. Ultimately, any permitting reform legislation will need to make it out of the Republican-controlled House, through the Democratic-controlled Senate, and to the president's desk for a signature. So there's going to have to be a bipartisan negotiation to make that happen. And that's where Citizens Climate Lobby volunteers come in. Who better to foster bipartisan discussion on climate policy than all of you? Seriously. Because of the way we have always approached our citizen lobbying, which is by meeting with nearly every member of Congress on both sides of the aisle year after year, we are uniquely positioned to encourage that bipartisan cooperation that's needed on permitting reform. And Congress needs to hear from the grassroots on this so they don't let this moment pass. When a transmission line takes 10 years, it's hard to have clean electricity by 2030. So now's the moment, and we need to urge Congress forward. So we've got our Conservative Climate Leadership Conference coming up next week, where we'll have a bunch of our conservative volunteers on Capitol Hill meeting with Republican offices about this very topic. And then in June, we have our annual conference and our big lobby day, again on Capitol Hill, with hundreds of volunteers from all over the country. Registration is open for that now, so you can see the event details and plan to join us. And we need you there so that you can help us take this message to Congress. We need to tell them clean energy is ready to go. Now we need to deploy it. Updating these permitting processes could save the planet. So thanks for all you're doing, CCL. Join us in June, and let's keep going.
Since I am a lobbyist, I would have to say no. I think there are a lot of really bad connotations surrounding lobbying. I don't think lobbying is inherently evil. I think when you get a lot of money involved with it, it gets a little bit corrupt at times.
You grow up and you hear about all the California fires and etc. And then when it happens to you, it's entirely different.
I do enjoy going to protests and seeing how many people, care about the same issue as me. It's very nice to be able to visualize that. But for me, working online and getting the message out there feels a lot more comfortable, and I feel like I can reach more people through that work.
Keep moving on, I feel like some people definitely get discouraged, and it's where you're feeling that you're crunched for time or that there's nothing left that you can do. Just keep moving forward. What else do you have to lose?
Looking for a burst of inspiration and encouragement? Are you a climate advocate hungry to hear climate advocates' stories of success? Want to improve your climate communication skills? If so, tune into Citizens Climate Radio, a climate change podcast. Learn, laugh, and gain a greater appreciation for a variety of climate work. You can find Citizens Climate Radio wherever you listen to podcasts, or visit our website, cclusa.org/radio.
Hey CCLers, I'm Ben Pendergrass, your Vice President of Government Affairs.
And I'm Jen Tyler, your Senior Director of Government Affairs. As you can see from the trees around us, spring is coming a little bit early here to DC, and that's getting us really excited for the upcoming June conference.
You know, last year we had some of the most significant climate wins in history, but we're not done yet. We need to get back to DC in June to make sure Congress knows that climate's still a priority, even with all the other things going on in the world right now.
Not only are we going to be talking about and lobbying on some really important topics, but just being there in numbers sends a strong message to Congress. I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations with staffers who have been so impressed by how many people we bring to the Hill every June. Every single chair in the Longworth cafeteria seems to be taken by a CCLer, and that really sends a key message to members of Congress that we're there, we're united, and we're going to push them to advance priorities on climate.
You know, there's going to be a lot of important things happening this year. We know we have to engage Congress on permitting reform, make it where we can build clean energy infrastructure faster. We know the Farm Bill is coming, and we need to preserve our climate wins from the IRA and the Farm Bill. And you know, we need to keep pushing Congress on a carbon price and CBAM legislation as well. And that's why you need to make it here in June.
Really hope to see you guys in June.
Really needed an outlet where I felt like I was really making an impact and really contributing. And when I found CCL, it was exactly that.
My work is centered around going out into the highways and byways and compelling people to know that there's hope.
As an indigenous man, it helps me to be able to understand that I am from the earth. You know, whether it be the trees or the bush or the rocks, the elements in itself, you know, we're connected to these things.
Citizen Climate Lobby, it helped me to look at climate change in a different manner.
Each generation sort of gets to define what politics is. That's why it's so key for people who I think are level-headed and want to have fruitful discussions to really get involved when they can, because they bring a lot of people with them. They create a culture in which we can talk about these things in a calm way.
I really believe that talking about it and trying to educate people and help them come to their own conclusions, I think that that's very, very important.
Our voices can make a difference. You know, whether you're on the reservation or whether you're from a small town or state, you can literally write a letter or call and talk directly to the office or congressperson themselves.
Growing up wanting to be politically involved but being a little bit quiet about it, I was able to just observe the conversations both on the conservative and liberal spectrum. You're trying to understand the other person, and compassion plays a part in that desire for communication and that desire to be understood.
Politically, I've voted both ways. I know there's good people, both Democrats and Republicans. They're good people over there at our state house.
I'm actually optimistic about the future of the party just because I know so many young Republicans that care about climate change.
I'm very optimistic. I believe that somewhere, somehow, we're going to get it right.
Don't be discouraged about what the future looks like. Come to our meeting and be encouraged to make a difference and make the change happen.
If you're nervous, just jump in. Just jump in and help, because I was nervous. But sometimes you're needed.